What's up, guys? Instead of trying really hard to get 10% better CTRs or 10% lower CPAs in terms of making your funnel better, like a 10% better conversion rate or some small 1% improvements here and there, what you actually should do is make your customers worth more. Because as an e-com brand which already has momentum, which already is getting a consistent flow of new customers, your main constraint, even if you want to scale higher, if you want to get more new customers in the door, especially if you're running paid ads, is going to be actually making each customer worth more first, and then actually being able to spend more. Because if every one of your customers proven, validated, basically is able to, bring in $100 of net profit over, their lifespan, then you could spend less than $100, spend, let's say, $95, and you're technically still profitable. And ultimately on Facebook ads, on paid ads in general, the person who can spend the most for a customer is going to win, right? That person is going to be the person who actually is going to get that customer. And so how do you actually execute this? Well, there's 3 different questions that you can ask yourself in order to maximize the value and the profit that you get from each one of your customers on your store. First one is, what's my optimal post-purchase product? Second one, how can I double the usage of my hero product? And third one, how can I reduce return rates, right? And so let's go through all these in general. Now, when it comes to my optimal post-purchase product, it's possible for every niche. It doesn't matter what product you sell. If it's a consumable, if it's not a consumable, if it's an all-in-one solution already, you can still upsell things. Really important to understand. And so it just comes down to the value equation, because every upsell offer, also needs to, you also need to keep the value equation in mind for your upsell offers too, not only for your normal offers, for your core offers. Because imagine this, right? The dream outcome of the product, well, do I get a better dream outcome if I buy this upsell? Perceived likelihood of achievement, well, do I believe I'm also going to get the main dream outcome faster and the next biggest, better dream outcome if I take this upsell offer? Time delay, will I achieve the initial dream outcome more quickly if I take this upsell offer? And effort and sacrifice, will this make it easier overall for me to achieve that initial dream outcome that the main core offer promises? And that makes or breaks your value of your upsell offer. And you can do this for every niche. A couple examples, because I'm assuming most people watching this video are going to be in one of these niches. So if you sell something for teeth whitening, right, you could upsell a whitening toothpaste. And essentially then, if you have a consumable, boom, you just upsell them on a subscription offer. If you sell resistance bands, and this is a cool example because it's shows that you can get really creative with this, you could upsell a workout course plus ebook on how to actually use those resistance bands to get the best results from it. And then you could even upsell a paid community, once again, consumable, reoccurring subscription. Boom. Get people to never leave, right? Pet supplements, obviously consumable itself. You can upsell an all-in-one bundle, a complete the kit set, right, overall. And what that's going to do is it's going to be even a lot more expensive first upsell than the initial product that they just bought. What's that going to do? Once again, very simple. It's going to have a huge AOV attribute or contribution, essentially, right? Now, once again, bundle subscription. The second that you have something which is consumable inside of whenever someone bought something which is consumable, even if it's only a part of your offer, you can get them to subscribe to that one specific thing, right? Once again, keep the value equation in mind, especially these two here. Time delay, is the upsell that I'm going to offer them going to get them to the dream outcome that I promised them more quickly? Same thing with effort and sacrifice. And then every upsell can work for every niche, for every product. Travel pillow, you could sell a compact backpack, and then even something like a travel size skincare set or something. If you sell skincare and supplements overall, well, first of all, get them to subscribe in the first place. If you don't have a subscription offer and you have a hardcore consumable, like something with skincare or supplements, and then launched weekly new products, right? It's not going to be, finding, cracking that one thing. No, if you have a, consistent flow of products that you launch every once in a while, and there's always your loyal customers that buy it every single time, then they're not going to stop, right? And so the only thing you need to do really is just get really good at product, because most brands, most e-com founders are just bad at marketing or product, right? E-commerce should be a supply constraint. It should be an issue of, I don't have enough stock to sell out. I'm sold out. That should be the constraint of e-com at its core. But the reason, the fact that most people struggle with, getting a lot of, first of all, getting even the product market fit in the first place, but even beyond that, after that, just really trying super hard to sell the product, and every customer is worth their AOV. Well, that's your problem in the business, not to get more new customers. It's that every new customer is only worth 1 times their AOV, and you're just gonna be outperformed by far by someone who, well, that isn't the case. And so the thing is, if you compare like usual normal dropshipping to an actual real brand which focuses on product development, the main thing which is going to happen in the future is obviously with VO3 of Google, stuff like that, right? Ads get better and better and better, right? When the second that AI takes over, we'll have the ability and the option to have a lot more of a creative volume and output, and also quality. And so if you have more better ads, and everyone has more better ads, then what's going to happen? Well, e-commerce is going to go back to the actual constraint that it used to have, which is supply constraint. And so what's going to get more important is the founder itself, the logistics of the company. All these things are going to get more and more and more important because everyone has a good marketing, right? The second that Facebook introduces the feature that you can just upload a creative, press go, and essentially they do everything for you. They even scale for you. They just take your credit card and your creatives, and you can test 1,000 creatives an hour with the craziest AI stuff ever, and it automatically starts to iterate your stuff. The second that happens, dropshipping as we know it right now is not going to function at its core anymore, because dropshippers rely on marketing. And if the second that marketing gets less and less important because everyone has really strong marketing, everyone has really good ads, it's going to be extremely difficult for you to stand out. And so how can you stand out? Brand awareness, trust, authorities, influencers, and product, right? Really important. If you have a good product, if you already have at that point a loyal customer basis which refers you, where you get recurring revenue just because people consistently refer you to their customers, and your business is growing just because the product is good, not because you market it better, right? That's when you as the founder will have an exponential effect from that. And also, word of mouth is something which can work massively against you. So this is like a big problem for a lot of founders, is that word of mouth overall is working against them. There's no such thing as neutral word of mouth. It works either massively for you and with you, and you get customers from it, or massively against you. You just don't know. You just think, oh, my CPAs go up, oh, my ads fatigue. Not the case usually, okay? Second thing, right? Second question you gotta ask yourself to get back to the topic: how can I double the usage of my hero product, of the main product that you sell? And so you have 2 options to figure out what the main thing really is. And the main goal of this whole thing is going to be to create a habit of using your product. As you know, like after about 9 months of a human doing something, that's when it switches to a habit. That's when they're locked in forever, right? If there's not a massive change or whatever in your pricing or whatever, then they are basically going to stay. And so I suggest every ecom brand watching this video, just call up your customers. Just call 100 of your customers and ask them the questions that you need to figure out to improve your product. Surveys are obviously the one-to-many solution to that. Obviously a little bit less effective though, right? Because you leave people more time to think. Fewer people are actually going to be very, they're going to be less honest, and just fewer people are going to fill it out, if that makes sense, right? Now, product development is actually really similar to product research, because you want to take a look at your competition and what they're doing, but also at the same time work on the product itself based off the answers that you get in the surveys and the calls, right? And so in order to create a really good habit of using your product, and to create any good habit overall, what you need to do as the brand, and this is from the book Atomic Habits, you need to make it easy to use, you make it attractive, you need to make it obvious, and you need to make it satisfying. And so easy is obviously the ease of using the product. How easy is it to actually unbox it and to immediately plug it into their lives, right? The easier, once again, the better. And so do they need to charge it up every day? Do they need to, whatever, is the unboxing super complicated? Is the packaging terrible? Like, make it attractive, making the product itself, or the packaging and everything attractive, is that you have an immediate response, an immediate effect from the product. So maybe if you have a supplement, you could say something like, okay, well, I'm going to make it super tasty. I'm going to make it super good. And people even want to take more, even if it's like a medicine, right? Even people want to take more of it. And so that's why I automatically just do it out of a routine, just because it tastes so well, right? Or if you sell, for example, I don't know, like a nose strip or whatever, you can make it invisible, right? So it's even unnoticeable. It's just it looks good. It feels good to use it. obvious, like how easy is it, how compact is it to just put somewhere and to just keep using it. For example, if you sell phones or something like that, like smartphones, then what's going to happen is obviously everyone always has these things in their pockets. And so what's going to happen from that is usually that, when you make something obvious to use, and the more easy and obvious it is to use something and to put it into their habit, then, the more people are going to use your main product and the more they will come back and buy it again. Same thing for make it satisfying. And this is really focusing a lot on actually having an immediate satisfaction, an immediate reward from using the product, right? So that's what basically making it satisfying means. And so the main goal, like I said, is to create a habit out of using your product. And so the third question, just get to back to it, is basically how can I reduce return rates? Now, the wrong approach, in my opinion, is actually saying, oh, returns cost money, right? That's your customer support. You have some type of weird AI customer support that replies immediately. You have chargeback automations. Don't get me wrong, these things are good itself to have, but if you don't work on your product development, PD, then you're not good. All these things are not going to work out. This is the base of everything. Once again, you're going to look at the most common objection. You're going to look at the biggest reason why people want to quit their subscriptions or want to return, want a refund, and then you just fix it, right? Because if majority of your customers are asking for a refund, then by all means, stop selling it, right? It doesn't work. And so fix it first, and then have a product which is so good that it sells itself and that people automatically just keep coming back and buying again. And all these things that I talked about here, super, super important. And once again, like basically, if you go back to the basics and compare what is going to give you a bigger return, if you're an e-com brand who's already making decent numbers but just can't scale a certain point, do you think a 10% improvement in your conversion rate or in your AOV, or and let's say like a little bit higher click-through rate, and so like a 20% lower CPA, do you think that's going to be the main thing which is going to lead to you scaling? I don't think so. I think if you could make everyone, like the lifetime profit of each customer, worth 5 times what it is right now, I think it could scale a lot higher than that. I think you could spend a lot more confidently on ads. And so I personally think LTV, the lifetime value, is not the actual metric that you should look at, because that's what people usually say, like LTV, they throw around with these words when they have investors' money, right? A lot of e-com brands, you can recognize an e-com brand who just operates with money from investors when they're saying, oh yeah, we're going to make that back from people coming back. No, you need to base it off of previous data from the last couple of months, right? So you do these things, you wait a couple months, keep working on your funnels, keep working on your ads, and then if you realize over time exponentially the lifetime profit increases based off the past couple months, then you can actually spend more, but confidently, because you know, okay, well, I'm going to get these people back and they're going to basically over time be more profitable, right? And so this should be like the mindset shift of you don't have to have an immediately profitable upfront later on when you already have the proof of concept of people coming back and buying again. But if you don't, then don't do it. If people are not coming back, then don't just start massively spending money on ads just because you know, oh, okay, well, yeah, they're going to come back anyways. Once again, usually brands that operate with a lot of investor money, because they're just like, yeah, they don't have, a credit card they have to pay back every month or stuff like that, right? Because they can just operate with something which you can never imagine. They have like millions maybe in investors' money, and so they can just throw money at Facebook, and yeah, they don't care about having a good Facebook ROAS. Why? Because they just think they're going to be profitable. And so don't fall into that trap. Work on all of these things. Ask yourself constantly, what's my optimal fourth post-purchase product? How can I show it to them? So immediately in the post-purchase funnel, but also email marketing, right? Really big one. Now, how can I double, triple, quadruple the usage of your hero product and all the other upsell products too, basically? And how can I reduce my return rates for every single one of the things that you buy, even if it's a digital product? Because a lot of times when you sell, let's say, a paid community subscription or something like that, let's say someone wants to quit a paid community subscription. Well, ask them why. Of course, give them a refund, don't scam them, but ask them basically why they want to quit it, why they want to get a refund. And then for the next 10 customers that you sell into this, you make the experience better and you will make more money from the next 10, right? Because they're going to refer their friends. They're going to stay longer than if you just don't give a refund to the first person just because, oh my God, I'm going to lose like my, $20 a month. So be like really, really, really picky about the things that you do here. And so really important that you keep all these things in mind. Once again, I'm really going to double down on this because I think there's not a lot of things that are giving you such a high leverage change inside of your business than to just making everyone worth more money. And especially in e-com and low ticket, when you sell on an impulse purchase, there's nothing speaking against just being able to sell someone on impulse purchase a second time and a third time, right? It's completely different in a service-based business. It's a lot more difficult to get people to buy something else, to buy again more of the same. In e-com, you can sell them any bullshit and they will come back and buy again if you just do it properly. And so focus on that. Why don't you focus on getting a really good product up, which people just stay at, low churn in your business, and your business just doesn't stop scrolling. It doesn't matter how many customers you buy. And then you can once again just throw money at Facebook and still be profitable because you look at your overall marketing efficiency ratio instead of only your ROAS, and that is a lot more profitable than only, for example, the Facebook ROAS. And that's when you can expand to Google, expand to native ads, for example, get influencer and organic channels up, maybe even YouTube ads. That's where you can just look at all these different things and, profitably have a successful market entry in new channels. That's how the fastest, that's how brands scale the fastest, because they just make a lot of profit per customer and you don't have to make that immediately upfront. But that was pretty much the main takeaway from this video, guys. I hope you could learn a thing or two. If yes, then go ahead and write your main takeaway into the comments. And I want to say thank you for giving me your most important asset, which is your attention. And I wish you a beautiful day.